what Catalyst is, you know what it can do, and we use it for building the official stages. I myself, besides that, use it to test Catalyst. I've been doing some work on Catalyst, so whenever I do a new version, I test it to make sure I'm not breaking too many things, since it's quite easy to break things with Catalyst. I also, as I've tried to show you, we have some scripts and some tools we use to automate the release engineering work. So whenever I update it, I also test it. And from time to time, people ask me, well, for instance, Mike Freisinger of Appier at one time asked me, try building stages disabling Python and Perl use flags in the default profile. So before anyone did that, so before anyone finally got a change in the tree that disabled that, I had built stages and I make sure that things worked. So I can use it for that. And recently that I've met and start talking with Rick Farina, Zero Cows, they are using it to build their Pinto releases. Complaints, yeah, there are a few. All you need to do is to go to the links aren't very easy, but the idea is if you search for the Bugzilla saved searches, there are two named release and catalyst that I've shared, and you can see we have bugs. And if you're interested in seeing bugs, they're there. And if anyone wants to help them, great. I'll welcome any help with them. Myself, I don't like that it has a lot of hard-coded and absolute paths. So it was in a way that we always had to build it and slash release. I don't want to build it there. I want to build it where I like it. And so I've been working to try to change that. And a few examples of things that are currently causing issue with it are the portage conf_dir variable, which is something you set in a spec when you want to use, when you want to specify a portage configuration file. So if you want to build a stage or you want to build an ISO that you want to keyword a specific package, you want to enable a use flag or want to disable, you set portage conf_dir to a directory and it will use what you set. In the case of Live CD Stage 2, something as simple as the variable that says, where am I going to store the ISO file, is hard-coded. So if you want to deviate from the official, you have to change the files just because of that. And another example in Live CD Stage 2 is the config file for the kernel. It also has, in my view, spec files are currently a bit inflexible because you have to set quite a few things in there, and because you have to do it, and then you have the absolute paths, it makes things harder. It would be simpler if there were smaller files that you only had to specify the least minimum amount of variables. And finally, it's old code. Catalyst was mostly worked by initially Chris, Wolf, and then Andrew. And both of them stopped working on it over 3 or 4 years ago. And since then, it has had just the minimum amount to make sure it works. So we need to work on it. We need to update it to Python 3. It doesn't build with Python 3. We need to redesign the code and to make it more modular to prevent some of the issues we currently have. You guys forgive me, but since Rick wasn't able to be here, and I've been talking a lot with him lately because he's been around us trying to get things fixed so he can build his releases. I've asked him for his opinion so I could share here. And these are 4 points that he raised. One of them, and it's true, we've seen that recently, because the code hasn't been changed in a long time, the Live CD stage target is dropping all static libraries, and that is causing issues for Pinto, and that's something we have to fix. Another thing that he would like to get is modularizing the spec file, so instead of having a spec file that set the C flags, set the arch we want to build, the snapshot we want to build, we could put that in 2 or 3 different files and pass them to the Catalyst. That way, you won't need to have 10 different files for different versions, and you won't have to update daily the snapshot. If you use a particular date for the snapshot, you will have to change it every day. You build a new version. You would also like to get GPG assigned support to Catalyst. Currently, we have stages. Our stages are assigned, but that's a manual process. It isn't done by Catalyst. And finally, we would like to get something that Fernando Laco would also like, which is for us to build a 32-bit CD or DVD with a 64-bit kernel, which is something that currently they can do here. So my real goal here was, does any of you use Catalyst? What does it work? How does it work for you? Is there anything it does well for you? Is there anything it does bad for you? What is that you need for it to have to change so that we can try to work on that and make it better? Any volunteers? Okay. But if you want to later, I really want to make it better. If you can give ideas, that alone would be great.
Well, we used to build stages as well for a social network, and that is actually where I think that Catalyst should best be just thrown away and just rebuilt from scratch. Because, for instance, the error reporting is horrible.
True.
And it has so many different flags, tunes, and options to do weird things that you really don't have an idea of where you're going. And sometimes it's very hard. At that time, Python was still an interesting issue that you had to work around. And there you just so basically it's a tool. You really need to know it, and it's very hard to get into it. And even if you're into it, I feel that it's also still it's hard to handle, and it feels like it's a hack on a hack on a hack. So maybe we should look at the Metro thing that Fantu uses.
I've never tested. I don't know.
Me neither, but apparently that's a rewrite that is much cleaner. So yeah.
I have no idea. I haven't tried it, so I can't comment. But yeah, we can try to look at it. And I have no doubt that we need to change the code. Anyone who is interested in doesn't have anything to do, here's a good project. You're welcome. Anyone interested? Anyone is using Catalyst, wants to share his experience, her experience? Ask questions, Okay, so I think we're done. Thank you.